So which is better, Forex signals or algorithmic trading, also known as expert advisors or bot trading? So today I'm going to be looking at this question. I'm going to be answering as best as I can. I'm going to be giving you my personal opinion on which one I think is better based on my experience in using both of these. Now, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to go over each. I'm going to be talking about what each one is, how it works, just to break down, the general idea for each of them for people that maybe don't know or have never heard of them. I'm sure most people have, but I'll just be breaking them down for you guys. And then we will look at some pros and cons for each of them. Then I'll be showing you some examples for each of them. Then I will be going over my personal opinion for each of them and which I think is the best to use. So please make sure you watch right till the end and you see which one is ultimately better in my opinion. So let's dive in, guys. First, let's just talk about each of them separately. What are signals? So signals are basically just that. You will receive a signal on a platform such as Telegram, Discord, WhatsApp, whatever the group you've joined or whatever platform you are using, you will receive signals from the provider that will tell you when to buy, when to sell, where your take profit, where your stop loss. They will give you all the information based on a trade, and then you will manually put this in. And that's very important. You receive a signal and it's up to you to take that signal, okay? It's not automatically put on for you. You have to do the work to actually take the trade. The other way that you can get signals is through, for example, if you set up indicators or you have a specific bought indicator that gives out signals based off of certain criteria. So let's say it's looking for something to happen in the market. When that happens, it releases a signal and says buy now. And often these will, you will then have to give your own stop losses. Some will give you stop losses, but the one I want to look at today is more the third party, where a group, a person, a human is giving you signals based off of their own analysis. They will analyze the market, they will send out the signals, and you have to take the signal if you want to or not. So you have the choice, and that's important. And I'm going to talk about that later when I talk about the pros and cons. So that's the basis of what signals are, okay? Now, what is algorithmic trading or expert advisors or EA trading or bot trading? So an EA or an algorithm is basically coding that is attached to a chart, for example, MT4 or MT5. You will have a code that has your specific rules for the strategy that it's using. So it will say, when this happens, you take a trade. When that happens, you take a trade, and it will also be putting in your stop loss and your take profit for you. So this is an automated form of trading that you basically don't have to do anything. It's hands-free. You basically let the bot trade on your behalf. And that's the difference between signals and EA or algorithmic trading. EAs are doing it for you. So that's the basis of each. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to look at some pros and cons for each. So let's do that now. So signals, what are some of the pros of signals? Now, there are a lot more pros and cons, but I'm just touching on the most important that I think need to be out here. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to comment that there are a lot more pros and cons for each. Yes, they are. But these are the ones that I'm looking at, and these are the ones that I'm going to be talking about. So with that being said, signals pros, you don't have to know much about trading. So you don't really need to know what the strategy is, because at the end of the day, you're just taking the entry off of what the provider tells you. They tell you, buy now, sell now, here's the stop loss, here's the take profit. That's it. That's all you have to do. So you don't have to know anything about trading. I mean, it's ideal that you know a little bit. Then the next one, let's look at the next one. Normally not too expensive. So this one it's a 50-50 that I put there, because for the most part, they're not too expensive. The ones that I have used, I have one that is basically a $10 service, $10 a month. You normally will pay a monthly subscription. And for the most part, these should be recoverable from the service itself. So the money you're making from using the service should be able to provide enough cash to keep paying for that. And if it's not, then I would say leave it. Why are you sticking around? The other one I use is $30 a month. So they do vary in price, so you've got to do your research as well. And this is something that I'm going to be talking about a little bit more. The next one, very easy to follow, guys. They basically send you a signal. I'll show you an example in a bit where it says, here's your entry, here's your stop, here's your take profit, and you just have to go in and put that in, and you have to make sure you're doing that correctly. So it does fall on you, which can be also a con, I suppose. So let's talk about cons. Let's go look at the cons of signals. At times can be very difficult to enter in time. So some signal providers will provide you with market execution. They'll tell you to buy now, sell now, and you've got to just go ahead and do that. They also will give you, limit or stop orders so that you are putting it in and waiting for price to actually hit that. Those are the ones that I prefer, because then you have a little bit more time to get the information right. Because if you're doing the execution, it can be very difficult and it can be quite stressful, because you're trying to just do it all quickly and the market's moving and you might even miss some of the moves. So that's sometimes you've got to be very careful. The next one, very difficult to match the results advertised. You would have to execute on every single trade. So this is very important, guys, because most of the providers, if they are on Telegram or Discord, will have a free channel where they release some of their signals. They'll release a couple of their signals, but what they will be putting out all the time is all the results, or not all the results. They'll be showing you their positive results all the time. So you will just keep seeing win after win after win, and it looks amazing. But the truth is that there are going to be a lot of losses as well. For most of these signal providers, they are just your normal traders that have an edge in the market, and they themselves do make money, but they have a win rate. So most of these will be maybe a 60%, maybe a 70, or even a 55. Let's just say they have a 60% win rate, right? And they are giving you about 10 signals a day. This would mean for you to match that 60% win rate, you would have to take every single signal they send. Now, the signals that I use and the providers I use, I would say I'm lucky if I catch 50% of them. And this right there is one of the biggest issues when it comes to signals, is that if you are only taking a portion of their signals and they have a 60% win rate, what if the 50% of signals you're taking are majority of their losses? Then your results are going to look very different to theirs. So in order to match, and you might be lucky and take all of their winners, and then it looks amazing, right? But if you are not taking all of their signals, every single one, you will never match their win rate. So it'll be very difficult to basically use their data, because that will be different to your data. So it's something you really have to think about when you're taking signals. Now, when I look at signal providers, I look at signal providers that have a decent win rate, but they provide fewer signals. Maybe three or four a week, one a day. That's all I want, right? So one of the providers I'm using now provides a lot of signals, and I did that because I wanted to do some research for this video, and I'm going to be talking about that. Right, so let's look at the next one. You will always see the winning trades in the free channel, but not the losers. And I talked about this. They're always going to show you the winners, right? They want to sell their product, because at the end of the day, you're paying a subscription to use it. So they are selling it. And this is something you have to always be aware of, guys. They're always going to be showing the good. They will never show you the bad. So just be aware of that and do your research, okay? So let's go to the next one. EAs, pros for EAs. Very easy to set up. For the most part, EAs are very easy to set up. They will give you normally possibly a set file that you just download and you just pop it into the EA, or they'll have very simple settings. Some have more, they have a lot more settings that you can use, and then, it can be confusing, but for the most part, as long as you are getting it from a reputable source, they should be telling you exactly how to install and upload that onto your chart. And for the most part, it's normally quite easy to do. The next one obviously is completely automated. EAs, bots are completely automated. Hands-free, once it's set up, the bot does all the work. So that should take all of the psychology out of it. You shouldn't be trading with psychology, because the bot is doing it all, and you will not be missing trades, which is the difference with the signals. You can miss a lot. With this, you could be sleeping and it could still be taking trades on your part. So very important. That is a very important pro that I wanted to talk about. The next one, again, is no experience needed. You don't need to know too much about market. You don't need to know too much about, different strategies, this, that, and the other, because the bot is doing the work for you. Right, so let's look at some of the cons here, guys. EAs tend to go through phases of profitability and then loss, right? You see this often. They will have this beautiful curve and then they'll have like just a sharp decline, because most EAs will work very well in a specific market condition. But once the market changes, unless you're changing those settings, then you're going to have a tough time. And this you see it time and time again. And I'm going to show you a little example of that as well. Next, they can have bugs that can cause losses, because at the end of the day, these are codes, and these codes can get glitchy or can have issues. So you're going to see sometimes that, an EA will work, then there'll start being glitches or bugs. And unless you've got a provider that is always on top of that, you've got to be very careful. So make sure wherever you're getting your EA from, they are always updating and keeping you posted with any problems. So the next one, you have no control and have to trust the bot. Why is this a con? Because I see a lot of people where they see the bot maybe taking a loss, where they will interfere, they will close the trade, and then all of a sudden the bot turns around and it gets the win, right? So you've got to let the bot do its thing, but sometimes that can be very difficult. For us as humans, we always want to have our hands on. We want to be in control. If you're going to use an EA, you've got to just release that control and let the bot take over. Okay, so with that being said, guys, now what I want to do is I want to go over and just look at a couple examples for each. All right, guys, so over here you can see is one of my Telegram groups that I follow that I get signals from. I'm going to cross out all the names because I'm not selling their product. I'm not affiliated to them. I'm just using this as an example, okay? So if you're asking me about who they are, I'm not going to answer. So please don't ask in the comments. But I want to show you this is what you will receive. You'll get something like this over here where they sell XAU USD. This is your stop loss. Okay, so this is the price. This is your entry. Then this is your take profit, one. And this is how they'll often do it. They'll break it into a few take profits. So you decide how you manage that. If it's one position, normally what I'll do is I'll just do TP1 and TP2. I don't normally push the third TP. I'll just look for the first one and then I'll close 50% and then I'll let the rest run. Or you could, if you want, close 30% and then let the remainder run, or 40 and let 20 run. So you decide how you manage that, unless the provider themselves has told you how to do it. So this is just an example of how that looks. But you can see, guys, I'm not going to scroll too much because then I'm going to keep showing you guys the name and I don't want to do that. But this one, I think it gives about 5 to 10 signals per day. And they have a good win rate. I think they have like a 65% win rate with their signals. But at the moment, even though I'm trying, I'm only catching about 50% of the signals. Now, luckily, I've done pretty well with them, but I think I've caught every one of their losers, but I've lost or I've missed the rest, which have been winners. So my results should be better than they are. And that's the point, is I can never catch all of them. Okay, so that's one thing I definitely wanted to go over. And it's something that you need to think about if you're looking at using signals. Like I suggested, I would look for a signal provider that gives you less signals. They've got a good win rate, but less signals. One signal a day, because then you can manage that. You can make sure you're catching that one a day, right? So that would be my suggestion. Right, with that being said, here we are in MT5, guys, and I just wanted to show you I'm in the market, and there are a ridiculous amount of EAs. So they can go very expensive. I mean, that's $30,000. No idea what it is. But you can also go to, for example, some free EAs. So you can essentially, you have access to so many EAs, but be very careful, guys, because one of the things I definitely wanted to show you here, let's have a look at this one, Sniper, CAD Sniper, okay? So this actually is pretty good. Okay, so it's showing you to use IC markets. That's fair enough because of the spread. But what I wanted to tell you is most of them, you're going to see these equity curves. You're going to see incredible equity curves. And that's like, yes, I want that. But what they don't show you is the few where you have a curve like this, and then you'll have just like a massive drop, market changes, and all of a sudden the bot just loses. And that'll happen time and time again. Every bot that I've used, except one, which I'm going to talk about, does this. It wins for a bit, and then it loses, and it will lose everything you've basically made. So you've got to be very careful, because where do you stop it? If you're winning, where do you stop? You don't know when the market's going to change, so be very careful. And each of these guys, I'm not going to keep clicking on too many of these, but each of these are the same. If you click on any of these and you look at the screenshots, they're going to show you some really cool equity curves, aren't they? They're going to show you nice equity curves. But the problem is that doesn't last forever, okay? It does not last forever. But what does last forever is an EA that I use. And this is what I wanted to actually go over and talk to you about, is that the only EA I have ever used that avoids this downfall where you're basically getting win, and then massive loss is Titan X and Titan AC from Blue Edge Financial. Our bot and our EA is unlike any other I've seen on the market, because what we do, and I'll show you this, is if you sign up with us, you basically get the EA and you get access to the prop farming blueprint. Now, what the blueprint does is it talks you through how to use this EA to leverage it against prop firms, take challenges, pass challenges, and actually make money with an EA. Because the problem with a lot of other EAs is you're using them on, let's say, for example, a live account, but the problem is you will win, and you'll then just lose everything. Win, lose everything. The difference with this is we have everyone in the community constantly back testing, doing tests, running tests. We have, if you look over here, we have Blue Edge optimizers that are running tests, and we have this leaderboard. Now, what this leaderboard does is it gives you the current best set files for the EA for current market conditions. So as the market changes, so do the set files, and so does Titan. Titan evolves with the market, and I've never seen anything like that, and that is why we have so much success. We currently have got over 700 of our clients funded with prop firms, and a huge portion of them have received payouts too. And what makes it even better now, guys, I wanted to really drive this home, is the fact that we are now using a hedge bot with this. So as it was before, it was incredible, but now we have included a hedge bot, and what that does is whatever challenge you're taking, you are going to hedge that with a live account. So you will put just the challenge fee, whatever the challenge fee is, you're putting that plus a little bit extra into a live account. And what that live account does is going to hedge everything that happens on your challenge. So while Titan is taking the trades on your challenge, it's doing the opposite on your actual live account. So what that means is if you do fail a challenge, and yes, Titan does fail, without the hedge bot, we have got 700 people funded. Now that we've introduced the hedge bot, that number is going to just soar. But the important thing is that if you do lose a challenge, you will make back your challenge fee in your actual live account. And that's the beauty of it, is that it's essentially risk-free, and it's absolutely been a mind-blowing change for us, and one that is actually currently working beautifully, and we have so many clients using it currently, and they are just raving about it. So if this is something that interests you more, I'm not going to talk about it too much because Adam has actually done a video, and I will link that at the end of this video so you can have a look at that. But if this is something that interests you, do you want to pass prop firm challenges risk-free? So what that means is, fail a challenge, you will get your money back. So that's the crazy thing, right? And that's always been the beauty of taking these prop firm challenges. When you take a challenge and you pass and you take your first payout, you get your refund. Now we're saying if you fail, you get your refund. So it's an absolute game changer. Now, if you're interested, please go down to the link below. Click on that link, which will lead you to the prop farming blueprint, where you can sign up to this incredible product, guys. You will not be sorry. It is the best EA on the market, and it's because of this that I choose EA. My personal opinion is not just any EA, Titan X and Titan AC. I will go with that over any other service. I do use Signals, but for me, the best is what is better. And I'm not saying EAs are better. If Titan wasn't in the picture, I would say they are 50-50, and they each have their inherent risks. And you've got to be careful with both of them, because I've talked about the pros and the cons. But the fact that Titan is in the picture, it changes that. That without doubt will make me say EA is the way to go if you're using this EA. So that's it, guys. That is my opinion, and I hope you guys click down below, have a look at what it's all about, and please sign up to this incredible product, because you won't be sorry. With that being said, guys, I'm going to leave this video here, like I said before, where Adam actually explains the hedge bot in more detail. So make sure you check that out. It is really interesting, and you'll get a better understanding of the hedge bot and everything I'm talking about. So that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. We will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.